Oh, do you know, the thing about pantomime that I've found in my short period of time doing it, this is my third ever pantomime, is that it's really it's a dramatic piece of theatre, really.
Yes.
It's a play with music and dance often, but the component parts remain the same. You can sort of play your part in a slightly over the top way, and sort of, if you want, and you know, if it's required, and it can go a bit OTT, but you have to stay within the realms of your character or in the part, because otherwise the thing just is chaos and falls apart. So it's an ensemble piece, so it's very important that you do your bit well, and then you can feed lines into your other actors and they can deliver the gag if necessary, because it's not an evening with Anton Beke, that's another show. This is a very serious, this is a very, I always think, sort of well executed piece of theatre, and from that you get the fun and the joy of pantomime. But I think if you take it as a sort of a platform for one's own self, it becomes sort of chaotic and you can't follow the plot.
Your second?
Richmond was my first. I went from Richmond, then I did the Churchill in Bromley, and this is my third.
Got it. Okay. So
and this is my third character as well. I went Buttons, Jack, of Jack and the Beanstalk, and now I'm Smee.
You're Smee
in the Pan.
And yes, Peter Pan is an interesting pantomime. It's very interesting that you say it's a theatre piece as well, because it's not. It's kind of been hijacked. It's been brought into the pantomime genre.
Yeah, a bit like Jack and the Beanstalk, really, as well.
Yeah.
I think there's some modern pantomimes, Peter Pan, as you say, and Jack and the Beanstalk spring to mind. Apart, away from the sort of traditional things like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and those traditional pantomimes. But I think they sit wonderfully well because you have all the wonderful components of pantomime. The dame,
yes.
The prince, the princess, the queen, the Craig Graham Horwood's character, as I call it, that sort of wicked queen character.
Yeah.
So all those wonderful characters are still component parts of even the sort of newer, more modern.
Of course.
Well, I like to be on this side because I live in Buckinghamshire, so I live sort of just north of Windsor.
Yeah.
So I like to get home because I have children of 6. So I have twins, George and Henrietta, and they're 6. So it's important for me because I enjoy doing the pantomime enormously.
Yes,
but I love this time of year. But it's also important to have that time with the children, with Hannah, my wife, as well, over the festive period. Because otherwise you would just miss it altogether. So I love it, and I like to be able to combine the both. Yeah, quite. Yeah, it's because I'm a judge on Strictly Come Dancing. It falls me the time now to be able to do the pantomime. So we moved the Saturday show to the Sunday in the theatre, and then I have Saturday off, and I go and do Strictly Come Dancing, and I come back on the Monday or the Sunday and start panto again.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very fortunate. Craig Graham Horwood's been doing it for years, and I sort of took his lead really.
Yes.
But I was unable to do it until I became a judge. That's why I've only done 2. I think the key to doing pantomime is love it, really. Just to love the show and enjoy the time. It's only a short period of time. We're going to do it for 4 weeks, got a 4-week run. And it's a lot of shows, 12 shows a week. But it's a great group. We've got a lovely group. We've got some wonderful actors and actresses in the group. We've got Nigel, who's playing the dame, one of the best dames you'll ever find. So I always think the show sort of hangs on the dame, really. You've got Paul Chuckle, who is playing my sort of partner, really. We're sort of henchmen to or sidekicks to the Captain Hook. So that's going to be fun. And I've never worked with either of those before, so I'm looking forward to that. And they're both, they've got about 100 years of pantomime experience between them. So I'm going to be watching them and hanging off their every word, learning as much as I can. Fundamentally, becoming a judge on Strictly Come Dancing afforded me the time, and then Crossroads, who produced the panto, called and said, "Would you like to be involved? We'd love you to come to Richmond and do Cinderella." So we had a chat about it really, and I spoke to Craig actually. I sought interview with Craig and asked him about it and what did he think, and he said, "Yeah, do it, absolutely, you'll love it." And I love it. But the script is, wow, so many words.
Fantastic.
So many words to
Fantastic.
remember.
Yeah, well that's part of theatre as well, isn't it?
If you're going to take a speaking role in theatre, you're going to have to learn some words. And
Well,
let me tell you, I take that book, I walk onto a golf course, and I hit a shot and I read the lines for hour after hour. You just have to, that's the only way to do it. It's like learning dance routines. Repetition is your friend. You're just going to keep doing it over and over again. Well, do you know, for anybody who's thinking of coming into it, whether you're a professional or an amateur, is what I do is this. When I go to rehearsals, I am, as we say in the theatre, off book. I know my script. You have to know your script. No one wants to wait for anybody to learn their lines whilst they're trying to direct them around the stage. So if you can learn your lines, you're a step ahead, because then you can concentrate on where you're supposed to be and listen to the other person. And when you do that, and also don't turn it into an evening with, it's an ensemble piece. Remember that.
But they'll be letting you do some dancing, I guess.
Oh, I shall guarantee there'll be some dancing. I'll be furious if I couldn't dance.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you see a big chunk of dancing, it'll be one of two reasons. One, because they put it in there and it's choreographed, or two, I've forgotten my lines and it's all I've got left.
So what can they, you know that this is Woking, this used to be ATG's headquarters.
Is that
and
right?
And they have Brian Connolly, this was their first theatre.
Ah!
Howard Panto and Rosemary Squires, this is their first theatre that they took over.
Is that right?
And Brian Connolly was here last year.
He would have done Cinderella, because he always plays buttons.
Yeah, he did do Cinderella, which you've done.
I did that at Richmond.
Yeah.
And I took, I know Brian Connolly very well, but I also know his brother very well, Alan, who's a floor manager on Strictly.
Oh, really?
So I spoke to Alan about it, and he gave me some advice. See, it's all about who you know.
It is all about who you know, isn't it? And Brian Connolly's daughter was at Richmond last year where Nigel Ellicott was.
Is that right?
He was a dame this year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nigel is wonderful. I'm already in love with Nigel.